Welcome to the Compact Mysteries podcast from compactmysteries.com, the show where we try to unravel a different bite-sized mystery each week, from baffling disappearances and strange objects to unexplained events and mysterious places. This is episode 39, The Disappearance of the Ninth Roman Legion. It was one of Rome's most battle-hardened legions, forged during the days of Julius Caesar, tested in campaigns across Europe, and entrusted with securing the volatile frontiers of the empire. Yet at some point in the 2nd century CE, the Ninth Roman Legion, Legio IX Hispana, simply vanished. No grand finale, no glorious death recorded in the annals of history. One moment they were stationed in Britain, and then silence. The mystery of what happened to the Ninth has captivated historians for centuries. Were they wiped out by rebellious tribes in northern Britain? Were they quietly reassigned and later lost in a different war altogether? Or did they simply grow irrelevant and get scrubbed from the books of an ever-evolving military bureaucracy? We do know that the Ninth had an impressive career. It was likely raised by Julius Caesar himself during the Gallic Wars and would go on to serve in Hispania, Germania, and Gaul. They fought in civil wars, put down revolts, and helped establish Rome's growing influence across the western provinces. By the time of Emperor Claudius's conquest of Britain in 43 CE, the Ninth was among the key legions deployed to help tame the island and build its new infrastructure. After moving around over the years, serving in places like Peterborough and Lincoln, the Ninth Legion eventually found itself based at Eboracum, modern-day York, and it became a permanent fixture in the north of Roman Britain. It built forts, patrolled trade routes, and acted as the iron fist of Roman authority in a land that never fully welcomed Roman rule. The tribes of Caledonia to the north were particularly fierce, and their resistance would be a source of tension for decades. Then something strange happens. The last concrete mention of the Ninth in Britain comes from an inscription in York dated around 108 CE. After that, the unit disappears from the historical record. No transfer orders, no recorded reassignment, no formal disbanding. Just absence. And in that absence, legend takes hold. For many years, the leading theory was that the Ninth had been destroyed in battle. According to this view, the legion was likely ambushed by northern tribes, possibly the Caledonians or Picts, while conducting an expedition beyond the Roman frontier. This theory makes sense. The region was hostile, the terrain was difficult, and Roman overreach had consequences. A legion being massacred in enemy territory would certainly explain why it never reported back. This idea became deeply embedded in popular culture. Historical novels and films picked it up, especially Rosemary Sutcliffe's The Eagle of the Ninth, which imagined a young officer setting out to recover the lost standard of the Ninth. It was the perfect mystery for the imagination, a brave Roman legion marching into the mists of Scotland, never to be seen again. But not everyone agrees with the theory of total annihilation in Britain. Some evidence suggests that the Ninth may have survived long enough to be transferred elsewhere. In particular, a tile stamped with the name of Legio IX Hispana was found in Nijmegen, in the modern-day Netherlands, and is dated to the early 2nd century. Could this mean the Legion left Britain and continued its service on the continent? If that's true, it raises more questions. Why were they moved, and what eventually happened to them? One theory is that the Ninth was later destroyed in the east, possibly during one of the many uprisings or foreign wars that rocked the empire. The Bar Kokhba revolt in Judea, which took place around 132 to 136 CE, was especially brutal and saw the destruction of several Roman units. Perhaps the Ninth was among them. The problem is again silence. There's no direct mention of the Ninth in accounts of that conflict, no clear battle, no list of casualties, no mourning of a great military loss. That absence leads some to wonder whether the Ninth was ever deployed there at all. Another theory is less cinematic but just as plausible. What if the Ninth was never destroyed? What if, after decades of loyal service, it was simply disbanded? Roman legions were sometimes dissolved without fanfare. If the Ninth had been depleted, demoralized, or politically inconvenient, it might have been merged into another unit or quietly removed from active duty. it wouldn't have been the first time a legion vanished from the official rolls. The Roman Empire was vast, and its record-keeping was not always perfect. Especially during periods of instability, units could disappear without much ceremony. Still, for a legion with such a long and distinguished history, the lack of a formal goodbye is unusual. There's another wrinkle in this puzzle. Around 122 CE, just a decade or so after the last mention of the Ninth, Emperor Hadrian ordered the construction of a massive wall across northern Britain. Hadrian's Wall was built to mark the limits of Roman control and to keep out the tribes beyond. Some historians suggest that this project may have been a direct response to a major military disaster in the region, perhaps even the destruction of the Ninth. If that's true, it adds weight to the original theory. The Ninth might have marched north, underestimated the enemy, and paid the ultimate price. With no survivors and no victory to claim, Rome may have simply buried the failure and moved on. Then again, Hadrian was known for building walls elsewhere in the empire too. His wall in Britain may have been more about containment and administration than fear of another massacre. Without more evidence, we're left with possibilities, not certainties. And that's why the story endures. The mystery of the Ninth Legion captures something deeply human. The need to know what happened. Was it glory or disgrace? Were they betrayed, overrun, or quietly dismissed after serving their empire faithfully for generations? Despite numerous archaeological digs and decades of scholarly debate, no definitive answer has emerged. The pieces don't quite fit. The clues contradict each other. Every theory solves part of the puzzle, but not all of it. And that's exactly what makes it so compelling. The Ninth Legion lives on not just in textbooks, but in novels, documentaries, and speculative articles. It has become a symbol of the unknown, a reminder that even in a civilization as well documented as Rome, there are still dark corners left unexplored. Maybe one day a buried tablet or forgotten inscription will shed light on the Ninth's final days. Until then, Legio IX Hispana remains a ghost from the past, a phantom legion whose fate is still out there, waiting to be uncovered. I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Compact Mysteries podcast from compactmysteries.com. If you did, why not leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts? And while you're there, don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. If you would like to support us more directly, please consider buying us a coffee. Head on over to compacthistories.com/mysteriescoffee to see how. Also, please check out our other Compact podcasts. You will find them all at compacthistories.com. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.